Antanas Varnelis, a serial killer responsible for 6 murders, 3 attempted murders and multiple robberies, terrorized Lithuania in the early 1990s. Known for using an axe as his weapon, Varnelis targeted vulnerable individuals who were unable to defend themselves. On July 28, 1992, a fire broke out in a house in the Sakiai district near a forest. When firefighters arrived, they discovered a body inside. It became clear that the man had been killed before the fire, bludgeoned with a stick, wrapped in old clothes and dragged into the house, which was then set ablaze. Despite 6 suspects being arrested, no stolen belongings were found, and they were released. 3 months later, in the Jurbarkas district, an elderly man was found with his skull shattered by an axe. He never regained consciousness and died after a week. The victim was discovered by his neighbors, who had seen Antanas Varnelis in the victim's home earlier that day. Varnelis tried to dismiss their concerns, claiming the elderly man had gone to the city because of health issues. Suspicious, the neighbors checked the house and found it locked, and a local worker mentioned seeing a young man flee into the woods. 2 weeks later, in the Kelme district, an elderly woman disappeared. Her health problems made it unlikely that she had wandered far from her home. When police arrived, they found her decomposing body under straw, which had been gnawed by rats. Items were missing from her home, and 5 suspects were arrested but later released after no stolen goods were found in their possession. A week later, 3 more criminal cases were opened in the Šiauliai district. In separate incidents, a man and an elderly woman were severely injured during robberies. The woman was covered in straw while still unconscious, and the man was left where he had been attacked, his skull fractured. Both survived. In the same village, another home was burglarized. On December 5th, in the Varnelis district, Varnelis struck again, killing 2 women living in the same house. A 92-year-old woman and her 68-year-old daughter-in-law were found with shattered skulls, their bodies dragged into separate parts of the property. Varnelis drank champagne from their home and even slept in one of their beds before fleeing. By this time, authorities began to connect the murders, realizing that a single person might be responsible. On January 14, 1993, Antanas Varnelis, a 21-year-old former student from an auxiliary school who had been released from prison early for good behavior, was officially named a suspect. His luck ran out 2 weeks later, not because of police work, but due to civilians in the Kaunas district. After the murders, Varnelis was heading to Vilnius to meet a friend from prison. He traveled at night and hid during the day, still carrying money from his recent robberies. While drinking with strangers, one of them noticed his tattoos and realized who he was. They alerted others and captured him, but when they called the police, they were initially told no officers would come quickly because many false reports were being filed about people claiming to have caught Varnelis. During interrogation, Varnelis confessed to most of the crimes but denied the rape of a minor. Born in 1971 in the Telšiai district, he had grown up in an orphanage after his parents lost custody. He was described as a withdrawn child with violent tendencies, only targeting those weaker than him. A school characterization from 1993, which was attached to the Supreme Court case, noted, "The boy is withdrawn, avoids communication and has no interests besides aggressive games. He harms only those weaker than himself and values strength above all else." This characterization was later cited in court as part of the reasoning behind his death sentence. On September 28, 1994, Antanas Varnelis was executed by shooting, becoming the 5th person in Lithuania's post-independence period to receive the death penalty.